This is No Holds Barred 980 AM with guest host Denny Siggins, Old School.
Hey Jen, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Denny?
Good.
Old school.
My friend Jeff Nader called me and asked me to fill in tonight, and I gladly did.
We have Kevin Patrick, I believe, calling in.
Yes.
Yes, from Victory.
Kevin Patrick,
How are you?
Old School here from Northeast MMA. How you doing?
Very well. Yourself?
Very good, thanks. Are you in New York tonight?
I am in New York tonight.
Are you listening to us
Well, I
on
just
the radio?
had to turn the volume down so that I don't have it in stereo.
So you did pick us up on the web.
I did.
Cool. And how are things going?
Things are going great. We're doing we're doing New York's first legally sanctioned MMA event on Friday, followed by a MMA event on Saturday.
Tell us about your Friday night. You got obviously weigh-ins tomorrow night for the Friday
weigh-ins are
night
tomorrow.
event. That's an all-amateur event.
All amateur event, but it's the first one that's going to be sanctioned by a sanctioning body recognized by New York State. So we've done MMA before in Vermont. We've done it in Pennsylvania. We've done it in New Jersey. But this is going to be the first one that anyone's doing that's legally sanctioned in New York.
And who's headlining that fight?
That one is going to be Joe Cox out of St. Louis. He won. We've also done the Friday Night Fights Muay Thai promotion.
Yeah.
He won our 135-pound 8-man tournament last year. So, he's fighting Andrew Sanchez.
So we got a grappler.
Andrew Sanchez and Joe Cox. They both have good records. It's just pretty funny that we have two St. Louis guys getting together here in here in New York.
Let's talk about the Victory 2, which is going to be Saturday night at the. It's in Dorchester, correct? At the Armory.
Correct. Yeah, it's on Victory Road in Dorchester.
Sure.
So we have Jon Manley from Team Link taking on Mike Winters in the main event. They're both 7-2.
Yeah, they are.
That should be a great matchup. We have Joe Pingitore on the card. We have Keith Barish from Black and Blue in Kingston taking on Patrick Walsh from New England Combat.
Let's talk about that fight. Is Patrick Walsh? Do I understand that he's coming down to 195?
He is. He is coming down to 195.
You know, he's fought at heavyweight. I've seen him fight as an amateur and 3 times as a pro. He's undefeated. But he's always fought at heavy, and he's bypassing the 205 and coming right down to a 95 catchweight.
Yeah, that's correct.
Pat Walsh is a beast. He's a wrestler. He's powerful. He can lift a Buick. He is really, really impressive. Trains on the South Shore down here in southeastern Mass and the Rhode Island area. Powerful wrestler. Tell us about Keith Barish, because he's from Black and Blue out of Kingston, I think. And
he's training with some really tough guys. Chris Mosseri, Sean Fagan. They run a great gym out there in upstate New York. They're just a really tough group of guys who will really kind of fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. And it's one of those definitely a steel sharpened steel kind of gym where those guys spar pretty hard and they always show up ready to fight. So Chris Mosseri, he made his pro debut in Muay Thai less than a year ago, and he took on Jay Matias, one of the very, very best at his weight class on the pro circuit, and he beat Jay, opened up a really nasty cut on his forehead, and got the stoppage. I mean, all those guys out of Black and Blue, they'll fight anybody. It's going to be a really good battle.
Fight. Patrick filled in on short notice. Did he not?
He did.
He filled in on short notice, and he's dropping to a low weight that he's never fought at.
But yeah, it's great that and it shows the kind of fighter that he is, that he's willing to step up and take another undefeated guy in Keith Barish on short notice.
Now, Mike Winters and Jon Manley. Mike the Myth Winters is a tough guy. I've seen him fight a lot. Pure wrestler.
Yeah.
Pure wrestler with some decent jiu-jitsu. He's trains out of the Bomb Squad in Ithaca. He's taken on Jon Manley, another guy with an outstanding ground game, more of a jiu-jitsu than a wrestler type of a guy.
Agreed, absolutely right.
Identical records, 7-2. John trains out of Link, one of the top camps in New England. Mike Winters trains out of the Bomb Squad, one of the top camps in New York. Really, really good main event. How did that one come to fruition?
That was one of the first ones we actually lined up. We hired our matchmaker full-time, Eddie Marini. He's been making matches for us with Friday Night Fights for many years. So now that we have both promotions, the Muay Thai promotion and the MMA promotion, we were able to bring him on. And he made that matchup several months ago, and those fighters have both been training extremely hard, and neither of them have any injuries, so I'm expecting them to both show up in really great condition.
Yeah, I've never seen Mike Winters not show up in great condition.
Yeah, agreed.
Jon Manley hasn't fought that much in New England. I don't think he's fought in New
Not
England
in 4 years.
in like 4 years, right? Team Link is speckled throughout the Northeast on all the cards here in New England.
Yeah, they have 13 gyms in the area.
And their guys are, they got, Vaca Moreno runs the camp up in Manchester, and Big Ed Carr runs his camp up in Hooksett. I think it's in Hooksett. And, yeah, they're all over. They fight on all the cards. To not have Jon Manley fighting in New England is unusual. We're glad to have him back, and he's a tough kid. He's going to add a lot to the mix at 170 pounds. What do you look for in the Winters Manley fight? Not a prediction so much, but how do you think it goes as far as the flow of the fight?
I think it's going to be very interesting to see if Winters can get the takedown, and if Manley will welcome the takedown for him to work from his back, because he does have a very active guard. So I think that's going to be kind of the interesting thing of if Manley is going to look to keep it standing, or if he's going to welcome Winters' takedown, because for sure Mike is going to be looking for the takedown and to move towards ground and pound.
Yes, I believe that's true.
Kevin, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks so much, guys.
So over the break, we had Nick from Rhode Island win tickets to Victory 2 this weekend in Dorchester.
Good job, Nick. I hope you enjoy the fights, buddy. And Jen and I are heading up to Lewiston, Maine, to the Kalos
Yes.
for NEF Fight Night 7.
This will be my sixth time there, actually. One I had to miss, but I was actually fight coordinator for 5 of them, so...
Good for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Marcus Davis, Darrius Heyliger is the main event. What do you think?
I say one exciting fight.
Marcus Davis, obviously Team Irish, Maine native, UFC veteran. He was the gatekeeper to the 170-pound division for so many years, taking on 24-year-old Darrius Heyliger from the Bomb Squad. Mm-hmm. Darrius is just 4-1-1. Should be a good fight. Darrius is tall. Darrius is probably 6'2".
Long arms, legs.
Long in the reach. In talking to Darrius's striking coach, Primo tells me he's gonna take it to him. He's gonna come out fast. He's gonna use his reach. Mm-hmm. He's looking to win this fight. He did not take this fight, and he's not traveling 9 hours to Lewiston, Maine to finish second.
They're on a mission. I would be pretty mad after that long ride, too.
And Marcus certainly doesn't want to lose ever, let alone in the state of Maine. Excellent fight.
Yep. We actually have Matt Peterson on the line.
Have we?
We do.
Hey,
Matt.
guys, how's it going?
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Matt Peterson, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing? It's good to be with you tonight. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me up. Jeff Nader was busy tonight, and they called in the backup.
You are
I'm the
more than
relief.
welcome.
I'm the relief pitcher. Matt, quite a
fiddle
main.
to no one, Denny. We all know that.
We were just talking about Marcus Darrius. How did that fight come together? How'd you put that one together?
It's a great question. We first had Darrius on our second event back in April of last year, and it was an incredible fight. He actually fought Jared Lawton. Jared Lawton time was 1-0, had only had one mixed martial arts fight down in Florida, where he had transplanted from Maine to pursue studying jiu-jitsu full-time. And Ryan Ciatoli, head coach at Team Bomb Squad, who we all know and good friend of ours, he told me about he had this young athletic kid, Darrius Heyliger, and they thought they'd make a good matchup. And I think it blew the brains out of everybody who had any history of Lawton's grappling background and had any idea of his accomplishments in grappling to see that fight the way it went down, because Jared threw everything but the kitchen sink at Darrius to try to take him down. Darrius, who doesn't come from any kind of traditional wrestling background like so many of the Bomb Squad guys, kept it standing. He showed incredible hits, and his stand-up was so fluid for a guy at that point who had only had 1 or 2 fights. It was just really, really an elegant display. So he ran on my radar after that, and then, of course, we brought him back. He fought Josh Bellows back in the fall. And had kind of a violent finish to Bellows that night. So he's been on our radar for a long time. We all know the depth and talent and experience at Bomb Squad. So when this opportunity came up, when Marcus said, "Hey, I want to have a fight here in Maine. I want to do it in a fashion where I can showcase my team," Ryan was one of the first phone calls we made, and Darrius' name came up. I think it could be a breakthrough fight for both guys. And I know that sounds funny talking about Marcus with 30 MMA fights to his name at this point, but he's fighting with a ferocity, being in front of his team.
I agree. I think, and Matt, as you said, it's a great opportunity for a breakout fight for Darrius.
Absolutely. I mean, Darrius, again, once you see him perform and once you see his movement and his athleticism, there's something special about this kid. There was just an article that just ran actually today in the Bangor Daily News up here in Maine about both Darrius and Dez, who of course were having fight for the Maine state title. Dez Green 8-1, Darrius is teammate. The two of them, there's just something about them, and they're good friends, and you can often find them together, driving to and from practice, and they spend a lot of time together. There's just something very unique and special about both of those young men, so we are thrilled to be behind them as a promotion right now, be able to feature them this weekend. I can't tell you how fired up. None of us are sleeping right now. We're just so excited to get this thing going. 31 fights. We sadly lost one fight this morning, one amateur fight, unfortunately, Maria Rios, so I want to give her a shout-out. Her opponent pulled out on her. Wasn't able to get her medicals done, and we feel very unfortunate that we won't have Maria on this card, but we'll be bringing her back this summer. But we still got 31 bouts. Everybody's medicals are done, and we're ready to rock and roll 4 p.m. on Saturday. We can't wait.
You mentioned Dez Green. Dez Green came on so fast. He had about a dozen fights in 12 months. He's 8-1 as a pro now. Had a real tough schedule. He's fought a lot of tough guys around the Northeast. He's taken on Henry Martinez. Now, Matt, do I get this right? Henry Martinez is now training up with Marcus and those guys?
That's correct. Marcus has got 2 schools up here in Maine. He's got the original Team Irish in Brewer, Maine, but he also has a satellite school, which sounds funny to call it a satellite school because it's really a state-of-the-art facility down in Portland, Maine. And Henry is kind of the guy down there right now, working with the team and really taking all their games to the next level. So we're proud to have Henry as a full-blooded Mainer at this point, and at least we're going to try to adopt him as one. And he's doing big things with those guys. So, I mean, again, you look at this card, you got 2 UFC vets in Marcus and Henry.
Yeah.
You got 2 title fights between Henry and Dez fighting for the lightweight title, and Travis Bartlett, another original Team Irish guy who's now transplanted by way of Las Vegas. He's flying in from Las Vegas to fight the big boy Tyler King, the number 1 heavyweight in the Northeast right now. You start to look at these matchups, and I just think it's going to be fireworks from top to bottom.
Hey, the Jared Lawton Cody Anderson fight, really, to me, this is a fight that could have happened a year and a half, 2 years from now, when both guys were 7-2. 2 really good guys. Cody's still a teenager. I think he's 19 years old.
This is a fight that could be, one of the real sleepers on the card. I think this is going to be a very telling fight for both guys. Jared's coming off that big win over Ryan Sanders.
Yep.
Finished Ryan with a knee bar with 3 seconds left in that last fight, and had everybody in that place just exploding.
Oh, yeah.
This guy can tear a white-hot hole through anything when he focuses, so it should be a very, very interesting fight. And we all know Cody's history. He's a young, hungry kid, too, so it'll be interesting.
Then we move on to a Ray Wood, Ahsan Abdullah. That's my pick for fight of the night. I've never seen either one of those guys in a boring fight, and their first fight was firework for like 3.5, 4 minutes. It was a barn burner.
Well, I know Ray's been on your radar for a long time, Denny. You spotted brilliance in him early on in his career, and nobody describes that original meeting between those two better than you do. And I think we're in for a repeat. I know Ahsan just hits it hard. I mean, training with beasts up there at Bomb Squad, like Shah and the rest of the crew, he's sparring hard. Ray never looked better than he did in his last fight at Combat Zone back in March against Sneef Cotito. So again, there's been a year in between, or a year plus, but both of these are 2 guys that have not slowed down at all. If anything, their games have really exponentially increased in the 12, 15 months since they last met. So
yeah, Ray improved his striking so much in a 2-week period. He had actually come down, spent a little time with us on the Cape. He trained over at Scotty Reams for 3 or 4 days, he and Ryan Sanders. And Scotty told him, don't try to implement this level of striking in your fight, a week and a half from now. Well, Ray did. Ray was never much known as a striker, and when he fought fought Smeef, he came out with elbows and knees and punches, and he TKO'd him in the 3rd round. I've never, ever seen an athlete absorb that level of education that quick. And Ahsan, he's just a kid. He's 20 years old, and he has an amazing training camp. They tell me that he's the one guy that doesn't back down from Shah. He pushes and pushes and pushes. And Shah is one of the best fighters in the world. It's going to be an incredible fight. I hate to see either of those guys take a loss, but I wouldn't miss that fight for anything.
Yeah, and you said it. I mean, I don't think they're legal enough to buy a beer between the two of them. But I mean, I don't have to tell you, Denny. You go up there, you rolled with Young's MMA. They're doing some really interesting
Yeah, they
things.
are.
And they've actually got another guy on the card that night. It's an amateur heavyweight, Kevin Smith. They promised me that you do not want to miss what this guy can do in the cage. So he's going to be facing Jordan Dickens, who's coming down from Canada. We're excited again. I think, there's a lot of new names, a lot of fresh faces on this card that people have never seen before. But for $25, you tell me where else you can go, not just in the Northeast, but anywhere, really. And for $25 of mixed martial arts action, get 31 fights, 2 UFC bets, 2 title fights, 9 professional fights. I just think it's going to be an outstanding card. We're super excited about it. People can check out NewEnglandFights.com, and there's still some tickets available at thecolosseum.com. Encourage everybody to come out. We think this is really going to be a breakthrough event for us.
This is going to be great. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, so much for
Matt,
calling
thank you
in.
so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Cannot wait.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for the
thank
support.
you.
And again, just encourage everybody to check out New England Fights. They can find out all about the card there. And thanks again, guys. Do a great show. I listen every week. I
We'll
appreciate
put a
it.
link on our site, too.
Have a good night, Matt, and we'll see you Saturday.
We actually have fighter Ray Wood on the line.
Is that Ray?
That's me.
Yeah.
How you doing, Danny?
Ray, good to talk to you,
Good
buddy.
thing you said nice things about him while he was listening,
I
right?
know. I was listening the whole time.
Ray, tell me about your training camp and how it's gone.
Oh, it's gone great. It's gone great. Like you said, I have a good group of guys to work with, and we just continue to be doing great things up here in great old Maine.
Ray Wood, you had an opponent change 2 weeks ago or so?
Something like that.
Week and a
Maybe
half,
3.
2 weeks ago. And it changed from Anthony Loicano to Ahsan Abdullah. Talk about what happened in training camp, how you change your mindset. Tell me about that.
Honestly, I like this fight much better than my original opponent. Obviously, there's a little bit of history between Ahsan and I. We fought as amateurs, so I'm sure he wants that revenge match. He trains out of a much better camp, in my opinion, and honestly, I think it's a great fight for me. But as far as what I changed in my camp, I kind of wish I had a full camp to kind of prepare for Ahsan. I think he's going to be a tough fight for me.
Ray, you came down to Cape Cod, you spent a couple of days at Scotty Reams, and you disappeared back home. And I hooked up with you a week and a half later, and I saw a striker in Ray Wood that I never, ever saw before. Tell us, how did you adapt that kind of striking to what I always thought was predominantly a wrestling and transition game? You came out to fight Smeef like a striker. Did that just happen? Did you just absorb that knowledge? How did it go down?
Honestly, I think my striking was always there. It was just the fact that, I guess if you think about it, your father could tell you the sky is blue all day long. But if some random guy tells you the sky is blue, you kind of listen to him for some reason,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been with Chris for quite some time now. I've been doing the same things. I mean, Scotty didn't really show me something new all of a sudden, but it's just the way he explained it a little differently kind of made things click for me. But honestly, I believe my striking was always there. It was just the fact that getting down to just being disciplined about it, not resorting back to my wrestling, just striking when I can and using my wrestling as more of a defense instead of just, I get hit and just want to take you down.
Yeah. Now, what did you learn in that fight? What you come away from that fight, Ray? What did you learn?
I mean, that I can strike. I do have the striking that it was just a huge confidence booster as far as my striking goes. I knew I had it. It was just as far as putting it all together and utilizing it.
How did you, when you first started fighting, how old were you, and what inspired you to first start fighting?
Well, I was a high school wrestler. Finished up with wrestling. Didn't really want to go, collegiate wrestling or anything like that. So, I still had that urge to compete and, wanted to do something else just to stay in shape. And I found, Chris Young, started training with him. At first, I really had no intentions of cage fighting or anything like that. But, after seeing a couple of, training partners fight and stuff, it all just came together. And I realized, hey, I'll try this out and see how it goes. And
Give it a try.
ever since then, it's just been a new love.
Now, Ray, have you ever had any injuries along the way that have significantly interrupted your training, or has it gone pretty good?
Honestly, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, I've had so many actually opponents fall through due to injuries. You know, I've been thinking lately maybe I'm not training hard enough. You know.
And how's my friend Katie doing?
Oh, she's great, perfect, keeping me in line.
Well, make sure you tell her I say hello.
Will do.
And I will definitely see you this Saturday. Do you want to give a shout out to your teammates, your school? Give them a little plug.
Definitely. Definitely want to thank all my teammates, my sponsors. I got a whole list of them. All you guys, Bangor Cellular Exclusive, Edith Tire, Realty, all you guys that helped me out. Bag of the Crow, helping me out with my walkout T-shirts. And definitely, Katie, thank you for all the support you've given me and the drive you've given me to keep on going. But other than that, I'll see you all down at the fights. Going to put on a great show for you all.
Thanks, Ray, for calling, and I really look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Great kid and really, really good camp. You know, a small camp in Bangor, Maine, taking on the biggest, baddest camp, Team Bomb Squad out of Ithaca. It really is amazing, the guys up there at Young's MMA. Always take tough fights, and almost sometime to their detriment.
Because I've seen Ahsan fight several times. He's a really tough kid. Really tough kid.
Yeah, Ahsan is real good. He's 3-2, but I'm telling you, I've actually seen all 5 of his pro fights. He easily could be 5-0. No, you know, he's a lot better than his 3-2 record indicates. And I was out there at the Bomb Squad one time. I watched him training with Shah. Now, Shah is one of the best fighters in the world. He just lost the Bellator world title fight. He'll be back, but guy's a stud. And Ahsan, he goes toe-to-toe with him. Round after round. It's amazing. He's going to be something special. And Ray Wood's going to have his hands full. It's going to be a great fight. The main card, excellent fight card. And as promoter and matchmaker Matt Peterson said, for $25,
can't get better than that.
You're not going to see a better fight card than that
one. A lot of stuff. Because I had been to one fight recently, I believe, at the Mohegan Sun, and I think the majority of the main card just fell through. There was like nothing left.
Was it a Bellator?
I think it was reality fighting.
Yeah, their last one
and
did.
I felt terrible for them because you can't bank on it, you know. We actually have someone on the line right now. I believe it's Nick. Hello?
Yep, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Nick from Rhode Island?
Yep, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I was calling in about the Pingitore fight. See what you guys thought about that matchup.
Joey Ping is 3-0. Did you see his amateur fight with Rob Font? You know, Rob looked tremendous in that fight, and you know what? Joey Ping just fought and fought and fought. And you know, in the 5th round of that fight, he finally got the fight to the ground, and he dominated in that 5th round, which kind of shows his heart. Joey Ping is an outstanding striker. He's very technically sound, a good boxer. I mean, he's really good boxing for MMA.
Yeah, he's developed a great boxing game. You know, thanks to Victor. He's became one of our boxing coaches, and since he took Joey under his wing, he's developed a lot working with Vic.
But on paper, it looks like Joey Ping is the better of the 2 fighters, but I think Shawn Nichols is a much improved fighter.
Yeah.
Beyond that, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just want to kind of give a quick shout-out, New England Combat.
You go right ahead.
Sure.
That's our new gym. We opened up in Johnston, Rhode Island. We're here if you want to train to be a fighter, if you want to train to pretty much everything, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, judo, wrestling. Anybody wants to come down, we're over here in Johnston.
Well, Nick from New England Combat in Johnston, thanks for calling in, and enjoy the fights this weekend. You got some free tickets.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You guys enjoy your night.
Okay.
Take care
you
now.
Too. Thank you. Okay, so we've come to the end of our show. Denny, it was such a pleasure having you
Jen, thanks
here.
so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And you're welcome anytime.
I guess you and Jeff Nader told me that you're going to Tuesday nights, correct?
Yes, starting as of next week, we're going to 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights. The Lowell Spinners have their own talk show from, I believe, 7 to 9, and we're on right after them at 9 o'clock. So,
well, I want to wish you guys the best of luck, and thank you so much for having me on.